How do you get inspiration?
Welcome to my city life. Being mistreated, misplaced, misunderstood, no way it's so good, it didn't slow me down. Being mistaken, always second guessing, underestimated, look I'm still around.
They didn't want to invite me because they knew I wouldn't come. And I heard about it. I never liked parties that much, although there was a time in my life where I really liked parties. We're over that. But they said, you know, I wouldn't come, so they didn't invite me. Then Kellyanne was up in the apartment, working as usual, and we were with a group, and she said that she was coming out to the Mercer's party. I said, really? What's going on with it? Well, we're honoring you. I said, I didn't even know about it. And they're going to have like 200 people or more or whatever. There's more. But it's a big deal. And I said, well, why wasn't I invited? Well, you're the president-elect, sir. You're not going to come. I said, oh, boy, things have changed, right? I said, I want to go. You know, Bob is a very social person. You know, we all unbelievably social. And true story. So Bob was at another party. We're having a friend of mine was having a party out in Long Island. Great people, a lot of great people. And, you know, Bob is really an extrovert. He gets it up, makes it up. He loves to meet people. Loves saying hello to people that he never met before, never will meet again. But he was there and he wanted to meet me. And I know Bob, but he wanted to talk to me. He said, you know, you're doing well, but you're not going to win. And I said, why? This was during the primaries. He said, you need some help, you need some this, you need some that. You need some good people. You need a guy like Bannon. He said, Bannon. It's true. And I said, Bob, we're doing great. And then all of a sudden I realized we were winning primaries by a lot, but we weren't getting the delegates. You remember that little phase I had? Where I won Louisiana by 150,000 votes and I got less delegates. In fact, like a week later, they're showing me the delegate count. I won this state and I got less. I won this state and I got less. And you know, I don't like that stuff. I don't like being screwed. And that was when I started saying that it's a fix, that it's all rigged, that politics is rigged. You'll find out about that as you grow older. You know? But hopefully by that time we'll have it straightened out. But I'd win these states and I'd say, that's interesting. Ted Cruz, who now endorsed me and loves me and all that stuff, so we won't say anything. We don't say anything bad. And by the way, Jeb Bush called, so we don't say anything bad about him anymore. And George Bush called, and Father Bush called. It was so nice. They were all really nice. And Kasich called, Governor Kasich called. And he was nice. I mean, he could have called before the election. You know, I said, why didn't you call like 3 days ago? But he called, they all sort of called, and that's good. That's good. We want unity, right? We want unity. Although Kellyanne was saying, why aren't they calling before the election? I said, don't worry about it, we won. So, and by the way, Philadelphia, they just gave up Philadelphia, by the way. So. This was just a scam for Stein to pick up some money for her party. You do know that, okay? Unfortunately, it cost us about $2 million in legal fees to go through this charade. And it was also pushed very heavily by the Democrats, you also know that. So they wasted a lot of money, and in Wisconsin, as I understand it, we're about 200 votes up. In other words, they're finding that they took votes away from us so far. But it doesn't matter anymore, because if they lose Pennsylvania, that's the end of it. And it's the end of it anyway. It was ridiculous, but it's a way of scamming the public, and it's a horrible thing, and it shouldn't be allowed. But so Bob was talking to me, and we had to talk for about 10 minutes. I found it fact, because this is a brilliant guy. By the way, this man is so brilliant. And so he talked to me for like about 10 minutes, which I heard was the longest conversation he's ever had with anyone. Is that right, Ben? Is that correct? It's the single longest conversation. I love this guy. And no, because I understand winners. He's a winner. And so we had the conversation. I found it interesting and recommended not only Steve but other people, and I recommended some ideas. And I found it so interesting that I wanted to go see him after we finished, because I had to say hello. So it took me about 15 minutes to say hello to other people. I said, okay, where's Bob Mercer? I want to see him. I want to talk to him a little longer. He's gone. That's it. Amazing guy. And it's true, though. It's called action. You know, the expression, all talk, no action? He's the opposite. No talk, all action. We need more people like this. But even worse than that, I have to tell you about Rebecca. So, So I put Steve in, and Steve from day one got the worst publicity of any human being on earth. Okay, I mean, they were saying things about him. They knew they were untrue, but they weren't saying any of the good stuff. Great student at Harvard, great in the military, loves the military. He knows more about nuclear submarines than any human being on earth, I'm telling you. This guy's I love this stuff. I love the whole thing with the military. The guy knows more about military, but a great guy. And he was really, at Breitbart, I think you were the first person that ever really interviewed me. We were up in New Hampshire. He was sitting behind this long desk with a couple of guys from Breitbart and him, and I heard he was the head of Breitbart, which didn't exactly make me nervous. This wasn't exactly like, they said, he's the head of Breitbart. I said, so what? What does that mean? But I found out, and it means a lot. He's done a great job with Breitbart. But he was sitting, he really has done a great job. But he was sitting with the goggles on, you know, the things. And he offered me a big pair of these big goggles to hear, because it's a radio show or something. Was that radio, Steve? That was everything. Radio, probably everything, knowing him. Every form of communication. But I put them, I said, you know, I don't really want to put them on. I'm going to mess up my hair. I said, please put them on. I put them on. Okay, my hair was a mess after that, but that's all right, because I had already made a speech. And we had this massive room, the other guys were speaking, you know, the other candidates, and there was nobody in the room. Then when I went into the room, right, it was packed to the rafters. And he said, we just saw the next nominee, but he's going to win the presidency. And he said that on day one. So I liked him. And then there was some, I liked him. Anybody that likes me, I like them. By the way, I had a lot of phone calls over the last 2 weeks. A lot of people like us. I'm talking about world leaders. A lot of world leaders like us a lot. Okay, we're going to have a lot of good relations. So, Steve right from the beginning, and he was always fair to me. And if there were bad stories, he'd write fairly, but he was always really fair to me, tremendously fair. So I made a deal, and I put Steve. And I have never seen anything like it. Front page in every paper, I was being ridiculed. Okay, so it's fine. So you know I'm not a big sleeper. But at around 12:15 in the night, I happened to be sleeping. One of the earliest I've ever gone. You guys go to bed after you go home, right? And you sleep for 8 hours, 10 hours, you relax. Me, not so much. So I'm sleeping. It's 12:15, exactly. And I get a call. Hello, this is Rebecca. I said, who? Rebecca, do you remember the call?
It was not.
Oh, I don't think so, Rebecca. Yeah, it was 9:15 California time. I didn't know you were in California. Trust me, it was 12:15. Or very late. So I get a call. This is Rebecca. I said, who? Who? You ever get a call like when you're sleeping and somebody calls you don't know where the hell you are, right? Because I don't sleep long, but I sleep deep. And she said, this is Rebecca. You've got to help Steve. He's being bombarded. You've got to help Steve. I said, Steve, who? Who? Who are you? Who's Rebecca? Rebecca Mercer. Oh, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Okay. So who are we talking about with Steve? Which Steve? Oh, okay. Rebecca. Now the next morning I wake up and said, did Rebecca call? I said, Rebecca is incredible. She's loyal. She's beautiful. She's got she is so amazing, but she is so loyal, and she fought for you, Steve, like beyond anybody had been forgetting. And I turned out to be loyal too, and now the New York Times did a story about him the other day, which was unbelievably mainstream. In fact, it was really a nice story. I couldn't believe it. It's so lucky I went and saw the board of the New York Times. I mean, I think I must have done a good job. But he became mainstream. So we have Steve Bannon is mainstream. He's not the same guy. But he's a great guy, he's a brilliant guy, and we're having a lot of fun. And Kellyanne, I was telling her husband is this brilliant attorney who I just thanked her for the time because she's like working all the time. And a man married to Kellyanne has to have tremendous, because they have a great marriage. So they have to have tremendous confidence. You have great confidence. And we do thank you. Incredible. Great lawyer, by the way, in case you need a good lawyer. Anybody needs a good lawyer. But Kellyanne has been incredible. And what she does on television, she'll go into any situation. I won't review the situations because it's all like when bad things happen. I don't like discussing bad things. But as little things happen, she would go in there and she would do an incredible job. And it didn't matter what the circumstance. She would say, I'll do it. And that mouth would get going and those people wouldn't know what happened. I mean, I remember she was on one show and they said, Mr. Trump has just won the presidency. Will he sue the 12 women that he never met before that said bad things about him? Will he sue them? And she goes, now I'm president, right? We just won the election. And she started talking about Obamacare. She looks at him, she goes, Mr. Trump is going to repeal and replace Obamacare. You don't realize what's going on with Obamacare. In Arizona, it went up 116%, and deductibles are through the roof. So, okay, so there is nobody like this woman. This woman is incredible. And so they came in, an incredible team. And who came with you? Where's Reince? Is he here tonight? What happened to Reince? You know where Reince is? He's working. This guy, it's sort of like a team came in sort of at the same time. Is Reince here? Huh? And no, Dave is here, right? Where's Dave? Dave, wait, before Dave, because Dave is a wild man. You know, Dave is perhaps as bad. Is Dave as bad as Steve? He's right in that same category, right? But Reince Priebus also, he's not here, but I have to tell you, he is going to be an unbelievable chief of staff. Did I see a general back there that I know? Is that General Flynn? General Flynn is here someplace. He's been great. But Reince is going to be great. Dave Bossie is tough and smart And he has done so much to help us. But before we even started thinking about this, I mean, he is the worst nightmare of so many people that don't do things legally. So David's been my friend for a long time, longer than I ever thought. We don't even want to say how long, right, David? But for a long time. And David has done an incredible job. Our team has done an incredible job. And you know what else has been really well received? Maybe most importantly, our ideas. Because we're tired of getting ideas. And one of the networks today in covering, they had a very big statement. One of the correspondents said, you know, Trump started winning after he went through the second debate, because we did well in the debates. But most importantly, when she started getting Beyonce, and she started getting Jay-Z and Bruce Springsteen, and filling up arenas, and then the arena would leave, and Trump filled up arenas all by himself and had many more people than they had. That's when they saw, this is a report. That's when that reporter saw the handwriting on the wall, because we had crowds. And we put our heads down with 3 weeks to go. As a team, we put our heads down, and we did, on average, 3 major speeches a day. We didn't have any time off to, you know, let our voice recuperate, okay? I hope you're in that position too. But we put our heads down, and I did 3 speeches a day. And then at the end of 21 days, we had 2 days left, and I did 6 speeches. You want to know what 6 speeches? And we had crowds of 25,000 people, 30,000. And on the last day, which was the day before the election, I did 7 speeches, and they had it organized so incredibly. I just walk into the arena, we started talking, the crowds were going crazy for the ideas, not because I played a guitar. A big, very famous musician, I'm not going to get into trouble, but he said, we're the best in the world without a guitar, because we filled up the arena, and we filled it up with ideas, and we filled it up because it's a movement like nobody's ever seen before. They've never seen it. I tell you, you know, a lot, I say it. Bill O'Reilly said it's the single greatest political phenomenon he's ever seen. It's a movement. It's not me. I always say that I'm a messenger. And these people are incredible people. These are incredible. These are people that nobody knew about. They were forgotten. We say the forgotten men and women. They were forgotten people. And they were forgotten by the politicians. They're not forgotten anymore, I will tell you that. Because they came out by the millions. And these people are really smart, really hardworking, and some of them haven't voted for years because they never found anybody that they wanted to vote for. They're great Americans, greater than a lot of other people that think they're great Americans. And they came out, and I'll never forget, about 3 or 4 days before the election, a great congressman from Tennessee. Tennessee, we were going to win anyway. But he said, you know, Mr. Trump, we started early voting, which, by the way, is not a good thing because there's so many things can go wrong with it. You should go out and have 1 day of voting. You know, the old system. We're going to try to clean up things, right, David Boston? We're going to try to clean things up because it's ridiculous. But he came out, he said, we've never seen in Tennessee people coming out like this. They're coming out by the millions, I mean, by the hundreds of thousands. And they never voted before, and yet they have the Trump shirt on, and the Trump hat on, and they have buttons pouring off the hat. And these are people that were non-political. He said, if this is going to happen throughout the nation, you're going to win big. And that's essentially what happened. I guess, Kellyanne, we can say that millions of people came out that are hardworking, incredible people, and they came out to vote. And nobody knew those people existed except us. And they really did come out. So it was great to watch, and it was a beautiful thing to watch. And I'll never forget, just in finishing up, we turned on the television, and the exit polls were sort of horrible. And I got a call from Steve and from Jared, my son-in-law is a very smart guy, good kid. And I get from Kellyanne, sir, I don't know what's wrong, it's not looking good. You all heard the same thing, right? You know, they put a statement on like, Donald Trump is a horrible, horrible human being. Do you agree? So they'd say yes. Donald Trump is the worst person ever created. Does everybody agree with that? So they'd say yes. So I'm getting all these terrible poll numbers early. And then what happens is some numbers start coming out, and we're starting to get pretty good numbers, right? Because maybe people don't mind somebody that is going to help fix this country. and we're gonna figure we have such great people coming in. So then it opens up, and if you remember, Texas was never going to be one. You know, all of a sudden Texas was in trouble, and they say it's in play. But Texas isn't supposed to be in play. But my friends in Texas would say, "What do you mean in play? You're going to win in a landslide." But all these networks are saying it's in play. Georgia is in play. So they say, "Ladies and gentlemen, Texas is in play." This is for the weeks before, and we're worried because Texas is in play. So now it's 7 o'clock. Donald Trump, 7:01. Donald Trump has won the state of Texas. Donald Trump has won the state of Georgia. So I thought they were in play. They called him like immediately. And then they call a place known as the great state that we love of Ohio. And we won it by almost 10 points. And we were supposed to win it. But it was supposed to be like 3 points, 2 points, 4 points. We won it by almost 10 points. Donald Trump has won very early. Donald Trump has won Ohio. Donald Trump has won Iowa by 10 points. That doesn't happen. Romney, as you remember, lost big and lost Ohio, lost Iowa, lost. So we won Iowa. Seeing this, and now ESPN is saying this is the single greatest event we've ever watched. This is greater than any boxing match or football game. Everybody's watching this thing. I spoke with so many different athletes. They're all watching. And then they go up to cuss. Donald Trump wins Florida. Breaking news. And you see these people, right? No, you see these news announcers, they're like devastated. One said, "Oh my God, Donald Trump just won Florida." These people, I don't know, are they on this planet? So they say, Donald Trump has just won Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump has just won North Carolina, in addition to South Carolina. And then they go up, they refuse to say Pennsylvania, because everyone knows. So we were leading in Pennsylvania. We had 98% for about, 4 hours? We got up to 98% with a massive lead. That if everybody voted, the other 2%, you could, but they refused to call Pennsylvania. And then finally at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll never forget one particular with a map, you know the maps? And he's going, Donald Trump has just won Wisconsin. Donald Trump has just won Michigan. Breaking news, Donald Trump just won Pennsylvania. Now they go, there's no way that Hillary Clinton can win the election. Remember? They said, there's no way that Donald Trump is winning. And I just want to tell you, it was very exciting. That's true, though. The ESPN got so many people said it was the most exciting event. Bill Belichick, who's a friend of mine, wrote a letter. And I'll tell you, to show toughness and strength. Here's a strong guy, sort of a liberal state, right? Massachusetts, but sort of liberal. And he wrote this incredible letter. And in the letter he said, you know, you're a great winner, great. So I said, do you think we could use this letter for a speech I'm gonna make? And he goes, no, send it back to me. I want to send you another one. Now most people, when that happens, meaning he wants to take all the fun, he wants to make it weaker. He sent me a letter that was 10 times better. That's why he's a winner. So that's why Bill Belichick is a winner. That's why the guy's a champion and a brilliant guy. He sent me a letter. When he heard I was going to read the letter, he sent me a letter that was stronger. Is that right, Kellyanne? So I just want to thank everybody in this room. I wouldn't have missed it for anything. I'm very angry at Kellyanne and David and Steve and my whole staff for not telling me about it. Because, boy, I would have been in big trouble with Mercer, I want to tell you. I wouldn't have missed this for anything. And I just want to tell you that the Mercers are special people. Rebecca, we want to thank you specifically. You worked so hard. You worked so hard. What a worker. What a worker. But not only a worker, we know a lot of people work hard. Smart, smart combination. So we want to thank you and the whole family. And Bob, we want to thank you and your whole family. And we're going to get to work, and we're going to do a great job for everybody. We have incredible picks. We're really getting a lot of praise for the picks we have, and we haven't even named a lot of the great ones yet. We have some great ones. I told people the other day, Mad Dog Mattis, and they went wild. He is such a great. All the generals love General Mattis, and we're going to be announcing him on Tuesday. So you're not allowed to tell. I did it the other night in the speech. You're not allowed to tell, but So folks, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. We're going to be working very hard. We'll be in Washington. I'll never see a regular car again. I drive around in armored vehicles. And if you think that's comfortable, believe me, it's not. But we are going to do a really good job. We're going to work very hard. It is a movement, and we're going to make sure this movement works.